were to pick, the most important, most impactful moments, entertainment-wise, of the previous year, I would probably pick four. I would pick a couple of chapters of the One Piece manga. I would pick my trip to New York Comic Con. I would pick Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And last but not least, One Punch Man. Three out of the four are things that we kind of knew were going to be big. We just didn't know how big they were going to be, or just, how fucking epic they turned out to be. And those are the best kind of surprises. Very few people would have predicted that the One Punch Man anime would have gotten as big as it did before it aired. And now it's all over the place. It made the New York Times bestseller list. The manga. Now it's 2016, and we have a crap ton of stuff to look forward to. Just starting off with the films that are going to be released this year. One of the most anticipated films of the year is a small film by the name of Batman v Superman. Perhaps you've heard of it. It's funny because this film was originally going to premiere in May, like around the same time as Captain America: Civil War. So there was going to be a war in the box office to see who could top who. Then the people at Warner Brothers are like, maybe we should move the release date to avoid this. So they moved it up to like March 25th, if I'm not mistaken. So that's when it's going to premiere. But the people at Marvel, they're like, oh, you're not getting away clean. So what they're doing is they're releasing Daredevil Season 2 on Netflix the same weekend. So now you're going to have to choose between going to see Batman v Superman or staying at home and watching Daredevil. Now, I don't know why people can't do both. I mean, to me, that would just be the fucking obvious answer. My point with this movie is that there's a lot of Superman hype, all right now. Not just because of the movie, but with Supergirl as well, that TV show, people are saying that it's actually getting a lot better. I don't know if that's true or not. And the Superman hype is only going to get bigger from here on out as we head towards March. And even after that, if Batman v Superman nails it, like if it's a good quality movie, there's going to be even more hype after that because we have a Justice League movie coming up. So, Saitama, which is technically the anime equivalent of Superman, versus Superman. Would these two clashing end in a tie? Now, I know some of you will be asking, wait, where's Goku in this discussion? I've decided to not talk about Goku and not have him in this discussion for two main reasons. First of all, it's a lot easier to talk just about two characters instead of three characters in one video. And most importantly, Goku, at this point in time, if you watch the series, if you're caught up, at this point in time, we know where Goku is at in terms of his power. As of right now, okay, Goku is below Lord Beerus, okay? So if anything, I would technically need to include Beerus in the discussion. So Goku needs to surpass Beerus first. And the difference right now between Goku, Supes, and Saitama is that both Saitama and Superman have been stated to have no limits. They have unlimited power. Goku has unlimited potential and he breaks the limits every single time. But as of right now, that limit is Beerus. Once Goku surpasses Beerus, I don't know how fucking strong he's gonna be. But right now, I'm telling you, it's too early. It's the same fucking problem I had with the Screw Attack video. I said it's too early for Goku. You need to wait it out. Wait for him to surpass Beerus. Because after he does that, we don't know. He may, in fact, become unlimited. We just don't know what's going to happen. So we have to give Goku time. Because listen, Beerus was trained by Whis, whatever. Whis has time manipulation powers. Let me rephrase that. Whis, who trained Beerus, has casual time manipulation powers. Casual. The point here is that if we were to quantify these characters as symbols, both Superman and Saitama would be an infinity symbol, and Goku would be represented right now as a question mark. Now, when it comes to Saitama versus Supes, is this what infinity versus infinity looks like? To quote the Joker, is this what would happen when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object?
Yet even then, there's actually a movie and a book called The Fault in Our Stars. The book is written by John Green. And there's a statement that says that some infinities are bigger than others. And that's actually been proven mathematically. If you don't believe me and if you don't understand what I'm talking about, I'll leave a link to a video that explains it pretty well. It's in the description so you can check it out. Now, usually the best way to assess a character's power is just to look at the top and the bottom of the scale. How powerful is their strongest attack or feat? and how weak are they, or how weak can they get, and what are their weaknesses. So let's start with Supes. This should be universal knowledge. Superman is weak to kryptonite. We have green kryptonite, gold kryptonite, silver kryptonite, red kryptonite, and I think Smallville used black kryptonite at one point. So all of those are a problem for Superman, and all of those different colors affect him in a different way. He's also vulnerable to magic, but since Saitama is not a magical being, like, he's not a wizard that can use magic, we really shouldn't consider that vulnerability. He also has an attack called Super Flare that incinerates everything around him within a quarter of a mile. But unfortunately, after he uses it, he's vulnerable for 24 hours. And I do have to mention the incident with Doomsday here, just because Doomsday doesn't technically kill Superman. He just kind of forces him into like low battery mode, like R2-D2. No, and then I made a mistake. When I was watching the final episode of One Punch Man, I actually compared Boros to Doomsday, but I was way off because, and the reason I said that was because Boros would just keep regenerating. But the problem with that is that Doomsday is a biologically engineered creature with the sole purpose of being able to destroy Superman. Boros was not biologically engineered to destroy Saitama. He was just a very powerful dude that came from outer space. And the same applies with Saitama. Saitama is not biologically engineered to destroy Superman. Saitama's purpose is to be a hero for fun, and that's it. Otherwise, he'd be going around saying, I was designed to kill Superman, which is not the case. But anyway, in terms of the feats of Superman, I don't want to bore you with them. You probably already know them if you saw the Screw Attack video. But basically, he can lift infinity. He can tank black holes, which I think Saitama, I think he was able to do that in the anime as well. He was able to tank the pressure of a black hole. The argument that I'm trying to make here is that these guys are pretty much fucking even. Now, at the top of the scale for Supes, okay, one of the most impressive feats that he has is that he was able to punch through reality. He punched through that shit. He broke that shit. How can you break reality? That is crazy. Now for Saitama, it was really hard to pinpoint some of his weaknesses. Initially, I thought that he didn't have any, and then I remembered this part in the anime when we see him holding his breath. So does that mean that because Saitama is technically still human, he still needs some sort of air supply and food supply to be okay? Like, would he be able to survive in the vacuum of space? Because for the most part, Superman can survive in space with no problem. It's just that this is a problem with the inconsistencies of Superman's character. The fact that he's been done by so many different authors. Certain authors do show him like in space without any gear, but then there's one author that actually like drew him with like a helmet. So you're like, what the fuck? Regardless, technically Superman doesn't really need food. He can just absorb energy from the sun. And what was up with that mosquito that Saitama was having trouble dealing with at one point? Was that supposed to be just a joke? Now, when it comes to top feats for Saitama, as far as the anime is concerned, we did see him crack a meteor, and by the end of the season, we saw him punch. His serious punch was capable of taking on a beam, an energy blast that was supposed to destroy the Earth. So that's a Planet Buster level attack that he was able to punch right through that. And after he does that, the sky splits in half. So he can literally punch energy and split it in half at this point. Now, I have read some comments of people claiming that the author of One Punch Man at one point during an interview said that if Saitama were to get serious, his punch would have half the force of the Big Bang, if not the entire Big Bang. But unfortunately, I was not able to find this source. I was not able to find the interview. So if that claim is going to be thrown around, I would really appreciate a source to that interview, like a link to it or, just a screenshot of it. That would be really helpful.
I will make one last comment, and that's the fact that Saitama is technically from a series that doesn't take itself too seriously. One Punch Man is supposed to be a parody of the superhero genre, okay? And I'm saying this because I've heard people say like, oh, this is just for fun. Why are you taking this so seriously? Well, because it's fun to discuss things. Then again, I can't really tell you what not to take serious and what to take serious. Because I'll tell you something, though. There are people that take Superman very serious, like they're calculating his stats. I've seen people going around quantifying his feats, like you would think it's like some type of like quantum mechanics type of class. So however you approach this discussion, that's up to you. I cannot tell you what to do. Personally, if you want my opinion, I think it's a tie. I think it's a fucking tie. I think both of them, like if the weakness of Superman is exploited in a proper way, Saitama wins. If Saitama's weakness is exploited, Superman wins. It just depends on the context. It depends on what the characters were willing to do to each other and how they're willing to do it. You know what? I would actually push that further and say that even with the weaknesses considered and the variability of the context and the scenario, 4 times out of 5, this is a stalemate for sure. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you did. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you have not. Comment down below with your thoughts. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.